Renovo friends. This is Kelly Calabrese, and today we get to be here with Colette Green. Colette, thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, I love it. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
well,
me.
we're happy you're here. So, Colette, you've been around horses your entire life. In fact, you have a background from Kansas State in animal science, and you have spent many years roping, barrel racing. Tell us a little bit more about that.
You bet, you bet. I come from a ranching background, and by that I mean my great grandfather, my grandfather, my dad, they've all ranched. I grew up on a ranch. My dad was the first, I think, to take horses and use them for something other than work, and he used them at a competitive level to rope. And for some reason, just as a young girl, I got the barrel racing bug. And so back in the day, they'd always have a little jackpot before the roping. And so I would participate in that. And so it's been a long process. I did not start at the top. I started with the old crippled ranch horse. And so that's where it all started. It was just a passion, a love. I think I came out loving horses and barrel racing, really, which was weird because nobody in my family did. So yeah, that's my background that kind of got me to where I am today. Yeah.
Wow, love that. So, tell us about how you heard about Renovo.
You bet. My daughter also competed and at a high level, and I met Ginger and Ray and their daughter, Allie. We were at the Junior NFR out in Vegas. Their daughter had qualified. And just because of the setup, you have to go up a ramp. 3 or 4 girls have to ride together. They can't get all the trailers up there and all the horses up there where the competition, where the rodeo was. So we got paired, thankfully, with Ginger and Ray and their daughter. And so we just struck up this friendship. We had a great time out there. We all did well. In that next year, my daughter's best horse was hurt. And we were telling Ginger about it. We saw they qualified again and we qualified again. She went on a different horse and she was like, "Oh, girl, you've got to hear about this new stuff. We've got this stuff called Renovo." She brought me over to Christian, the scientist that developed it. And she goes, "I want you to talk to him. I know we can help this horse. And so that's kind of how I got started in Renovo. I learned about it was just straight from Ginger's mouth, and then I met with Christian. So that's how I got affiliated with Renovo.
Excellent. Well, that was definitely a divine appointment.
It was. I thought the same thing. Because the injury was serious. It was a deep digital flexor tendon tear and quite a severe one. And those are, as many competitive horse people know, that's a hard injury to bring your horse back from. And so we were looking for additional alternative to what was out there. So that it was really amazing. It was God's intervention. Yep.
Good. Well, tell us about your experience then once you had the dose of Renovo.
You bet. So we put Renovo in him, and he got remarkably better as far as there was a decrease. That flexor tendon was swollen. And so it took a lot of the inflammation away right away. He was on stall rest because of it. We went back, and I believe Dr. Haig at Oak Ridge Equine in Edmond was the one who was treating him. And we re-examined him, I believe in 60 to 90 days. He was doing better. I think we did maybe another MRI, and we decided to go ahead and put a second dose of Renovo in at that time. What had happened is the first dose Renovo had him feeling so good that I had let him out into his run, and he had more activity than he even should have. And so I kind of think I had a little more re-injury or inflammation. So we went back, we cleaned that up, and we put more Renovo in. And we sent him to rehab, I'd say 30 or 60 days later. We went through a long rehab process, and then he was competitive again. He actually qualified for the American that following year. So the RFD TV American. So we had great success. After that, I had a horse that had some front feet issues. I wouldn't call it navicular. We actually couldn't just determine what it was. And a lot of vets weren't putting Renovo in the front feet because it wasn't at that time a sterilized product as far as, but I'd had such great success. I had great faith in Ginger. I had great faith in science. So we put that in the naviculars, actually. And that horse I just can't believe how much inflammation, because it's a regenerative product. It's supposed to promote growth or healing or, but I can't, it's such a great inflammation reducer, which, is critical to not killing your tissue wherever you are. And so it was just amazing. That horse changed personalities in 48 hours. He just went from sitting around a stall and he felt better. And it made a huge difference on that horse. I had a mare that I'd purchased that had an old stifle injury. And so we tried that in her, and I saw some improvement, but probably not to the degree of the other two. And I think that's just probably the link. That was several years when I say an old injury. So it wasn't something that was fresh.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that experience. Colette, what would you say to someone who has not yet tried Renovo?
I mean, I think, we all love our horses. And to me, and especially when you have a good one, and we've done all the time and the energy and the work, and it's heartbreaking when they have an injury, that sidelines them or possibly ends their career. I mean, that is the very worst part to me. Like, I can do the miles and the hard work, but I hate to see them hurt. And so I've just seen this product do what other products, I'm very, very familiar. I go to top vets in Texas and Oklahoma. So I'm very familiar with Simstel's, all the hyaluronic acids, Shockwave. I've done a lot. So I just would encourage them to try it, because not only did, especially the horse with the deep digital flexor tendon, so on soft tissue, I've seen lots of times you might get them sound from stall rest, rehab, that kind of thing, but the re-injury rate is extremely high. Now, that horse did later have another injury, but he never re-injured that deep digital flexor tendon. And so I was just so impressed. Instead of just treating the symptoms, Renovo actually repaired correctly that soft tissue injury. And so I would encourage somebody, if you want to use your horse long-term coming back from this injury, I think Renovo is the product. It does more than like I said, a hyaluronic acid, a steroid, those kind of things, because it actually correctly aligns the fibers and repairs the injury.
Wow, well, that speaks volumes, Colette, coming with your animal science background and all of the firsthand in the trenches, the experience that you have had all of these years around horses. So thank you. Colette, is there anything that I haven't asked you about Renovo that you might want to add?
I just think, the older I get, the more I feel like the people that back a service or a product are important. When I was younger, I'd always just be, oh, they're the best, or that's the cheapest, or that's the closest. But I've found out through a lifetime that working with good people, doing business with good people, it matters, and it always ends up better in the end. And I can't say enough about Ginger and Ray. They're just wonderful people. They want the best for you. So I just love working with people who are good people. So not only do they have a tremendous product, they themselves are good people.
Wow. Well, we appreciate that. Yes, we totally agree. We want to do business with great people and quality product. You have an amazing rehab facility. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm so glad you asked. Yes, it's been a work in progress the last couple of years. A little back history. I lived in Oklahoma and trained horses out of Oklahoma for 10 or more years. And I wanted to move back close to my family in Kansas, where my brother and sister, my dad, and I have lots of young nieces and nephews. So I moved back, and in the first couple winters, I realized that it was going to be super hard to be competitive as I was in Oklahoma, just based on our winters. I didn't have an indoor riding facility. The ground freezes hard. There's a lot of rainfall. And so it just became an ideal that I wanted to stay rooted here in the Flint Hills with my family. So I just had this ideal that solved the problem. I was going to build this facility where I could stay competitive, I can keep my horses competitive. and stay where I wanted to be, stay close to family. So that's what started it. And we've been working on it for 2.5 years, I'd say. And we're getting ready to, I've had a few outside horses already, but formally open on November 15th. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so tell us some of the things that you do, the
Sure.
services that you offer.
You bet. So we don't have any water therapies, as far as we don't have a swimming pool, we don't have an aqua tread, but we have a lot of other stuff. So I think that those things are handled well in Oklahoma, Texas. If you're in the Midwest, you can go there. But some things that we offer are indoor outdoor arenas. I have a racetrack, so we could do some long sprinting. We have a freestyle horse equicizer on a really conducive ground. Ground's really important to me since I train young horses, maturity horses. So I've worked really hard. Kansas, we have a big clay base. We're not blessed like Oklahoma and Texas with a lot of sand. And so I worked hard to get a really conducive dirt for safety, soundness, and to progress young horses. So we've worked hard on that. I'm also an ultra runner. I've taken that up in the last 5 years. And something that's kind of new to that game is to train based on heart rate. And so this is something that I'm going to implement for my horses, or I have implemented it. I'm going to implement it for my outside horses that I take in. And so it's really to maximize not only your physical condition, but your lung capacity, your sprinting capacity, your endurance capacity. So through our facility, we're going to form programs for horses based on heart rate training. And so I don't know if you want me to go more into that, but that's something that's going to be a little different that I've not found at any other facilities that rehab or condition horses.
Wow, well that's incredible. I actually have a master's degree in cardiac rehabilitation, so I am all about that. I know we could totally, go down this for
Get into the
long
weeds.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe we will on another call, but for now, what's some ways that people can get in touch with you? Do you have a website?
I don't. I'm not techie, as you know, because you had to show me how to get on Zoom. So I do have a Facebook, just a personal Facebook page, and you can message me. I try and put my cell phone number. I have a little advertisement on there. Is 620-255-9735. I'm on Instagram. Okay. And so I do need to do more. It's like a Facebook page for the facility itself. But it's Bargy Bar. That's our family brand. And so it's or Colette Green. So either way, Bargy Bar, conditioning and rehabilitation. Yep.
Great. Well, we're so excited for you. We know this is the beginning of something great. It's been a long time coming, and many, many years of training and expertise and your college background all coming together, your love for horses. And we're excited to see what you do there. We're so thankful that you include Renovo as, part of the regenerative medicine that goes along with the rehab. So it's a beautiful combination. We're excited for you, Colette.
Absolutely. And thanks for asking about it. And maybe we'll have to have that discussion on the heart rate training. And I need to learn from you, obviously.
Oh, well, I would love that.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Okay, good.